We realize that some of the things we may have delivered to you may not be the most positive, uplifting views that we have on the market or the economy, but we're not here to tout euphoria. We are here to be realistic, especially when it comes to pricing of different asset classes. You're looking at all three major asset classes on pace to rise this year. That's creating this very complacent environment for investors that investing is easy, and it's not. We do think that this has really run its course very fast. We believe completely in the AI technology, but what we've seen with new technologies before is that optimism turns into euphoria, and then that turns into realism pretty quickly, and it can be painful for investors that overpay for certain investments, for investors that chase certain investments. Instead, we're going to stay disciplined. We're going to consider our macro environment. We're going to consider the valuations in the market, and where there are dislocations, we're going to take advantage of that. And that may be reducing from an equity perspective, which is when you look at your portfolios, make sure that you're not overweighted in those momentum-driven stocks. These are the ones that we think are most at risk, given the very uncertain economic environment, political environment, and inflation environment. Remember, inflation really took the steam out of growth stocks a couple years ago. And if inflation doesn't really get down to that 2% level, and we're stuck here around 3%, that Fed will come in and say, guess what? We've done what we can. This is all we can do now. We have to sit and wait. And this will take steam out of this very, very optimistic market that we're seeing right now. That's all that we have today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to your financial advisor. We also invite you to subscribe to our podcast, Markets with Megan. When the government does reopen, we'll have a lot more economic data to share with you, but it's a real-time, regular podcast that talks about what's going on in the market and why and what it means for investors. The alternate view from our head of due diligence, Matt Andrelat, he talks about that illiquid market, that private market that we talked about that we favor for investors. He'll break down some of those very complex products. And then our CEO, Leo Kelly, has from the ground up, he interviews business owners that built a business over years and talks about their success and how they exited that business. Thank you again.